Do you want to have a healthy and happy relationship with your daughter? Well, you know what you ought to do? Date her. That's what our guest today says. Come on back and hear from author Greg Wright. Today's episode is brought to you by Baby Bjorn. Swedish design, dad-friendly, Baby Bjorn. Today in the lab, we're joined by Greg Wright, author of Daddy Dates. And the subtitle is 4 Daughters, One Clueless Dad and His Quest to Win Their Hearts, the roadmap for any dad to raise a strong and confident daughter. Greg, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come.
We really appreciate it. Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about this book. I mean, when I first saw the title Daddy Dates, I thought maybe it was like a single dad guide to getting lucky. But that's not really the point at all of this book.
Yeah, no, not at all. And to let you know, you're actually in great company because a lot of people read the title Daddy Dates and they have no idea what that actually is supposed to mean. It centers around individual one-on-one alone time with your girls so that you can kind of get front and center in the theater of their life and just experience what they're going through while they're going through it and not allowing for an interpreter to be between you and the kid.
And so your strategy to achieve this kind of closeness was a date. And tell us what a daddy date looks like. How does that work?
Yeah, call them on the phone, ask them to go on the actual date with me. Let me just pause. I'm teaching them what a date should feel like because I want them to learn that from me, not from some guy who's just trying to figure out if his braces are too tight. So the entire date's structured like that. So as I mentioned, phone call, come to the door to pick them up. We go to a place that they like, that's cool for them. I mean, yeah, it's okay that I like it too, but that's not what it's about. I want them to enjoy it. And sometimes they're activity-based, sometimes they're just chill-based. You know, we're just gonna sit by the lake and just hang out. Sometimes it's we're rock climbing, or we're, you know, the last daddy date I did, we did one of those Segway tours downtown Austin.
Yeah, sure. So you're busy dating because you've got 4 daughters. You're dating all the time. How often do you go on a date?
I'm a real guy, so I'm working, and so I plan it around my schedule. Sometimes I can get all 4 of them a month, and sometimes I go a couple of months and I can only do 1 or 2.
Talk to me a little bit, I was reading the book and you talk about this concept of pursuit. What does pursuit mean to you and why is that important in establishing a relationship with the women in your life?
You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a professional, but from what I can tell, it seems to feel like every woman really wants to be pursued by their guy. And guys get that when we're dating our girlfriends. We get that. We get the fact that we're to pursue them. But as soon as we catch them, we just give up and we stop. Caught, you know, done. I want to really live up to my role of pursuing my daughters. I want them to feel like I want to know about them all the time. And I don't mean that from a controlling, I want to know what you're doing when you are. Yes, of course, I want to know where they are. I want to know who they are. And the only way that I can seem to get that is if I pursue an intentional, on-purpose relationship with them.
Dating and when their daughters will begin to date is a hot topic among dads.
Yeah.
And of course, you always immediately get the joke, you know, about the shotgun or what have you. But really, it's obviously a tough topic. And it may be because dating and girls' lives are more complicated now even than when we grew up. Do you feel like it's tougher to be a girl now than when you were dating? And what do you think the big dangers are for girls out there right now?
Yes, I too am a dad of 4 teenage daughters, petrified. I don't, you know, they need to date when they're 30 and all that joke. But here's what we actually do. I don't know if you caught this part in the book, but I lay down a principle, and the principle is we're waiting till we're college age, until we're dating. Now, let me define what that means. We do group stuff all the time. We like boys. We let boys come over. We hang out with boys. And we do lots of friend stuff with boys, but we do friendship, but we don't do ownership, where this boy owns that girl, she's my girlfriend, he's my boyfriend. We're not doing that until they're college age, and I've been relatively relaxed about that.
Well, I would say that I think they're ready, like many things, to practice at adulthood. And I think that's part of coming of age. And so, I mean, you may make a judgment there that they're not ready to even practice at a one-on-one relationship until they're 18, you know, I can see your point, but I'm not sure that we would agree on that.
I think they're ready to practice friendship. And I think they're ready to practice connecting, communicating, and building a relationship. Because I think the one thing we could agree on is at the center of every successful marriage is the core concept of being friends with a very solid basis. And what happens is the moment romance gets involved, if it's involved too prematurely, it can spin out of control. And that's where I'm trying to influence and encourage.
You know what you really ought to do? Pick up a copy of Daddy Dates. Where can we get one of these?
Barnes & Noble. You can get it in any great bookstore, Amazon.com, but you can also order it through daddydatesthebook.com.
Pick up a copy, go on a daddy date, come over to dadlabs.com, talk to us about it, tell us how it went, because we want to hear from you. Greg, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you too.
That's all for us today on Dad Labs.